I really was looking forward to having this dialogue with you today, because I think, I'm almost 59 years old. I've never seen a challenge as big as this one. And this is a challenge we're now facing that nobody could have predicted. We have seen decades of change in mere weeks, and many of the things we assumed would be eternal or would be changing very gradually have changed in a very radical way. And we have to reinvent the way we live, the way we relate to others, the way we consume, the way we produce, the way we see our international relations. And I think for our generation, I say this broadly, for everyone who's now active in the public arena, this will be a defining moment. We will be tested, and we will have to show whether we have true grit, whether we have the grit to face this challenge in a way that does not that appeals to our fight impulse and not to our flight impulse. And it remains to be seen whether we as Europeans are able to understand that we will only get through this in a way that is acceptable on the basis of our values if we stick together, if we create pan-European answers to a global problem. If the flight impulse dominates and member states go it alone, then certainly some of them will stumble, and when some stumble, everybody will fall. I think this harsh reality should sink in, and it hasn't sunk in everywhere. Now, moving from that starting position to where I believe we are with our Green Deal. We strongly believe at the European Commission that a green recovery is possible. Now, if we are able to mobilize the investment capacity that we can mobilize, which is substantial, but every euro will be needed if we want to come out of this. So if we are able to do that, and we have the possibility to invest, then we have to make sure that the investment we make takes us into the new economy. Because if we don't do that, if we don't use our investment capacity to create a sustainable economy based on the Green Deal, then we will be throwing money at the old economy. Then the old economy might be more or less restored, but then we will not have the means to transform that into the new economy. And then we will lose out twice. And this is something I believe that is unacceptable and we should at all cost avoid. And in that context, it is the firm belief of the European Commission that the European Green Deal is not just a way to confront the climate crisis and the biodiversity crisis, but also a way to give Europe a growth strategy that is a winning strategy, not just for Europe itself, but also globally. So that is the starting position. Sadly, of course, now all our attention is on the COVID-19 crisis and how we master this horrible virus and then get out of this conundrum. But we should not be under the illusion that because of this, the climate crisis has gone away or the biodiversity crisis has gone away. They're still there. They're still there, and they will demand us acting to overcome them. Now, if this is to work, then we have to make sure that we're all on the same page. For this to work, I think some ideas are really, really excellent and very important. Let me highlight one of them, President, which I want to thank you for, and that is the Green Alliance. This is an alliance which covers already now, I think, 180 ministers, MEPs, NGOs, trade unions, many in the private sector, all people who not just believe in the green recovery, but have pledged to help to get it done. And I think if we now look at what we need to do in the short run, I think we should concentrate on a green plan that delivers quickly in terms of jobs and economic growth. We should, for instance, we should help builders put solar panels on houses. We should help homeowners to insulate their housing, or even at a larger scale of cities and regions. We should help families who want to or need to buy a new car to give them the opportunity to buy a clean car. We should assist farmers in harvesting more sustainably. We see the automotive industry asking us to help them by helping households to afford a new car. But why don't we do this with ecological scrapping schemes, replacing an old and dirty car with a cleaner, even zero-emission one? Why don't we prompt our industries to go circular, sourcing critical materials closer to home and preserving their value as long as possible? It would increase also Europe's resilience, which is something we've learned we need to do. So we can deliver, I think, quick wins for jobs, for health, create the optimism we need, because people are going to really fear becoming unemployed, and many people will become unemployed, and we need to make sure this period of unemployment, if it happens, is as short as possible. So for this to work, we need the discipline of the climate law. The Commission is really committed to that. The aim for Europe to become climate neutral by 2050 is the target you have set. It's the target the European leaders have set in the European Council. And now we as Commission propose to put that into law. It will be Europe's sort of guiding principle for businesses, investors, for NGOs to look at, for civil society at large. It will show that our pathway to climate neutrality is irreversible and that we are willing to accept the rigor of the law to make it irreversible. It's the green light to invest in sustainable jobs, and I think these jobs can weather the test of time and the test of the new circumstances. The climate law allows us to organize ourselves. It would oblige the EU and its member states to contribute to climate neutrality, keeping fairness and solidarity in mind. We should leave no one behind when we do this. The climate law sets the principle that all European policies and laws should move in the same direction. Then the member states design their own plans and policies to reach the European target. The climate law is a sign to the rest of the world that we believe in this better future and want others to come along. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of interest from other parts of the world for this climate law of ours. I will be speaking to South Korea, who will be deploying their own version of our Green Deal, and more should follow. Even if COP26 takes place later, our diplomacy will go on. Mr. President, I know that questions arose in the House on some of the procedures that we chose in our climate law to set the trajectory that leads to the goals we want to reach. I'm open to hear your concerns, and I really want to discuss a good way forward that would assure the maximum possible support in Parliament. What we need are the right signals, and what we need are the right commitments. The instruments we use for that, for me, are secondary. So we will continue our work on the increase in the 2030 climate targets. We will do it as planned by September. We will do it after a thorough impact assessment, as promised. And now more than ever, we will deliver a just transition that leaves nobody behind. I know that a vast majority of your Parliament will be on our side for this. Let me end with, I think, a crucial remark for now. We have a strong duty to convince all our constituents that the Green Deal is not a luxury we don't need now that we're in a crisis. We have to make sure to our constituents that the Green Deal can offer sector per sector future-proof plans for our industry, for our economy, that it takes us into climate neutrality, that it makes us independent of fossil fuels. And you look at the unpredictability and the volatility of energy markets now. We don't want to depend on that in the future. So it offers us a possibility to take us into a sustainable future. And we have to make clear to everyone that this is a strategy that is not a luxury, but essential for Europe's future. Thank you very much. I'm very much looking forward to your questions.